I'm in the company of Hitachi Energy gentlemen. Hi.
Hello there.
Hello.
Claudio, you are the CEO of Hitachi Energy. Could you maybe introduce in a few words the company? We know it, but...
Sure. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. Hitachi Energy. It's a joint venture owned 80% by Hitachi, 20% by ABB. We're really the core of our portfolio, our technologies around the power grids and the power systems. And we've been developing a strategy now, a 2030 plan that we've been communicating also to the market that is essentially built in 3 pillars, strengthening our core, which again is the power grids part, but also then deploying more efforts, technology, innovation around digital, around services, and of course looking at the edge of the grid, because as we know, the whole entire energy system is becoming more complex, so we have to be able to understand that holistically. And then last but not least, continue to invest in innovation, in technology. That's who we are, technology pioneering leaders across the globe. And then looking also at how do we drive the growth both organically and inorganically, and very important, creating partnerships. There is no way that we can continue to deal with this challenge that we have in front of us by looking at silos. So partnering across the value chain is an essential part of our strategy.
Thank you. Gerhard, you are the CTO of Hitachi Energy. Tell us more about maybe your position, your missions.
Yes, in line with what Claudio just said, we are developing, of course, the technologies and also the products which we need. And I think here the key message really is we are accelerating now the power system ramp up, and the technologies to start are there. So we don't have to wait for anything here. They are really available to start and accelerate the ramp up of the power system, and that is super exciting. And then, of course, we will develop further technologies while we are ramping up.
Looking at the urgent of power system ramp up, can you share your view about that? And as we know that this year the main subject is energy transition.
It's an exciting journey that we're all in, but it's a challenging one. And essentially we're running against time. There is no doubt, as also Gerhard mentioned, there is a lot of technology out there available today that can be leveraged and deployed. But we need speed, we need scale in order to do that. So for us, it's very important as a technology provider to do whatever we can to communicate and work in partnership, as we were saying before, with all stakeholders to make everyone understand what technology can deliver today. And then how do we innovate from a business model standpoint? How do we innovate from how we collaborate across the entire value chain in this new energy system in order to deploy that technology at scale and at speed?
Gerhard, can you tell us more about what we heard you talk about the power system of systems, and if any of those technologies areas are showcased here at the trade show?
Yes, absolutely. We call it a power system of systems because of 3 dimensions. First of all, we are creating really flexibility by having on-off subsystems which really help us to manage the challenges of the energy transition. We are embedding DC grids into AC grids, which is the 2nd dimension. And as the 3rd dimension, we are putting the power system into the center of the total energy system. And there we are connecting again flexibly to molecule systems like gas and like heat. And that brings the power system into the position being the backbone of the total energy system. And we have been showcasing here a lot of new technologies, of course, but to select maybe just 2 very prominent examples. One example is our Lumada Inspection Insights, where we are really putting together the Hitachi core competence on IT, but then also on video and picture analytics, and then together with our domain competence from the energy domain, where we are creating then real tangible value for the customers. And the other example is we are showing a world's first here today, actually, which is the 420 kV SF6V circuit breaker for the experts up to 63 kA, also short circuit current. And we are very, very excited about that one, because this is the first in the world really also with a comparable size to SF6, but really truly optimized on sustainability across across its life cycle and really the total switchgear and substation dimension. So a really, really breakthrough.
Okay. Claudio, last question. In your opinion, what are the benefits of being an exhibitor here in Paris, especially after 2 years of virtual events?
Well, first of all, it's great to be again at the event, participating not only as an exhibitor but also contributing to all the technology aspects, whether it's at the edge of the grid, transmission, backbone, power quality technology, power electronics, and also, as Gera was mentioning, more and more around digital. In 2016, we were here giving our perspective on what technology already back then could do to accelerate this energy transition and the decarbonization. And we made it very clear that it's important to leverage all technologies across the portfolio as long as they help decarbonizing. Gerard mentioned digitalization. That is a key part of the portfolio that will help us in managing the much higher complexity that this entire energy system has. And a lot of the efforts that that are going into that, not only from our side, but also for our customers and for the rest of the stakeholders present at Cigre, is really to showcase what we can do, each and every one of us, in terms of helping accelerating also that digital journey that we all are in that energy system, and we all need to accelerate in order to be able to deliver that decarbonization. So a great opportunity for us to interact, to cross-fertilize in terms of technology, but also building stronger relationships and building, hopefully, basis for partnerships going forward that, as we said, are essential to deliver that decarbonization.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you for coming by to the Cigre TV.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have the pleasure to welcome the president of the German National Committee. Hi, welcome.
Hi, good morning, Alice.
You've been nominated president a year ago. How exciting it is for you to be here as a president, and given the urgency of the climate change, how important is the role of Cigre towards your national committee?
Yeah, thank you. I think the meeting is very exciting for me because half a year ago we were not sure how many people will turn up in physically. The world was thinking after COVID there will be no more physical meetings of that magnitude, but we are so proud to meet the whole world here in 1 week. So it's such a great success. And it is ever more important for the energy transition. We are not ahead of time, and I think Cigre will be a key role for practice sharing.
As everybody knows, the substitution of fossil energy is largely related to electricity. Germany is one of the top leading countries to be engaged in finding solutions. It's a burning subject in Germany. What are the main projects nowadays in Germany? Can you tell us a bit about it? You have 1 minute.
Yes, I will try to keep it there. The urgency is, of course, tremendously increased by the shortage of gas now, which was not foreseen. But maybe foreseeable. The main key projects is connecting even faster offshore wind, which is a great resource of renewables with some level of availability. And of course, the North-South corridor projects connecting this bulk energy from the North Sea into the heart of the country, into the load centers.
Is it right that you are facing a decline of students interesting in the industry despite the rising demand on the market? And if so, how do you manage to attract these young engineers?
Yeah, that's unfortunately the case. We see declining numbers of students in the MINT study subjects, especially also electrical engineering, while we need more. Many experienced people will retire in the next decade. So we will have an info gathering organized by Cigre and Cire jointly after the session here in Paris, which is free of charge for students. We go to a university city. This year we are in Mannheim in the beginning of October, where we repeat the key messages here from the session.
Thank you for coming by and have a good session.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a nice day.
I'm in the company of Volker Hill from Siemens Energy. Hi.
Hi, good morning, Alice.
Good morning. Siemens Energy claims to be a partner and driver of energy transition worldwide. What is the role of the grid in the energy transition? Is it underestimated?
Probably it was in the past. If we consider that, for example, the IEA considers that by 2030, more than 50% of the installed capacity will come from renewables, more than 120 gigawatts of interconnectors being built between 2020 and 2040 across Europe, and more changes to the network are coming, it is quite clear that the transmission grid is actually the backbone of energy transition. And I think it's fair to say that over the last years, probably it was a little underrated. And now more and more the importance is being seen that without a stable and properly built out transmission grid, there is no energy transition and there is no way to a green energy in future.
So how can Siemens Energy help grid operators with the overarching challenge to manage grid stability in the changing energy landscape?
Yeah, my company takes pride in the fact that we have a wide range of technologies and portfolios that is actually helping our customers. It clearly starts with all the interconnecting technology from HVDC and integrating offshore wind into the network. And then, of course, also all our technology for grid expansion with new Blue GIS gas-free switchgear, and of course a lot of stabilization technologies that comes with so-called flexible AC transmission systems, STATCOM technologies, rotating phase shifters, and a lot of more different types of technologies which we can implement at the right point in the grid with the right sizing and with the right features for the respective use case.
Which highlightings are you presenting during this Paris session this year?
We have a total of 3, I would say, new inventions that we are presenting here. One is what we call a frequency stabilizer, a STATCOM technology, very mature technology, which we are enhancing with supercapacitors for very high density energy storage, which is able to provide, to inject or absorb large amounts of energies in very, very short time frame. And that helps stabilizing the frequency in a case of emergency or in a contingency case. That's one big feature, and we are actually signing a contract for that today, also with our first customer of that. The second innovation that we are presenting is an ARIS, an asynchronous rotating energy stabilization system. A complex name, yes it is. Basically a Swiss Army knife, I would say, a Swiss Army knife type of tool, consisting of a rotating machine for a lot of inertia, short circuit power, and the ability to also very actively provide dynamic reactive power compensation. So a very powerful tool, and we are happy that we are developing that with 2 TSOs globally. And the third one is what we call a unified power flow controller, something which is very essential nowadays where the grid is getting more congested and we have contingencies in transmission lines, and we need to be able to safely switch loads and control load flows over this grid to ensure an overall stable operation of the same.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Hild, and have a great session.
Thank you very much, Alice.